Hello, fellow Rebel Capitals. Hope you're well. When I first started content creation in 2019, I didn't have any followers, no subs, no views, nothing. And in a few months, I was able to increase the amount of views from just a few a day up to 70,000. Editor, you can go ahead and throw up a chart so the viewers can see exactly what I'm referring to. Now, the good news is this wasn't luck. This was all due to strategy. And today, Josh and I are going to share that strategy with you. And we're going to go over a little bit of a thought experiment to do this. What would I do right now if I started over from scratch? If nobody knew who George Gammon or Josh Lessard were, if we started a brand new channel for a brand new client, let's say they've got a small business or they're thinking about starting a business and they want to grow it by leveraging content creation, AI, and funnels, how would we do that right now today if we had to start from scratch? I mean, we don't have a computer, we don't have lights, we don't have a microphone, we don't have a mixer, we don't even know how to set up a YouTube channel. That's what we're going to get into right now. Josh, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, very cool. So the first thing that I would do is I would not focus on all of the AV equipment. I wouldn't focus on a mic. I wouldn't focus on a computer. I wouldn't. Josh is illustrating my point very, very well. You make do with what you have. Now, if you guys watched the last video, you know that when you start this journey, or even if you're in the middle of this journey, you can always improve, but at the very beginning, you're going to suck. Like I sucked, Josh sucked, Robert Kiyosaki, our good friend, Kenny McElroy, Jeff Snyder. It doesn't matter who they were, what influence. Mr. Beast, for heaven's sakes, was terrible when he first started. So you have to be okay with that. How do you get better? You put in the reps. It's just like going to the gym. And so when you first put in the reps, just do it with your computer, do it with whatever you have at your disposal, and then you can go ahead and add the mic, maybe the mixer, the lights, etc. I guess you have to start with a computer, that's for sure. But then what I would do before I even uploaded a video is something that is out of the ordinary. It's something you never would expect. Josh, you know what I'm going to say?
No, I have no clue.
I would study reality TV. So what I want to do right now with you guys, if I was working with a client, or if Josh was working with a small business that didn't have a YouTube channel, or maybe they had 1,000 subscribers or something like that, the very first thing that I would do at that client, the very first thing I'd tell Josh to do, is have this person watch a few hours of reality TV. Now, we're not going to watch a few hours right now. We're only going to watch a couple clips, but this is all going to make sense. And I think this is going to be a game changer for a lot of you watching this video right now. So Josh, let's go ahead and switch up the screen share. Okay, so here we go, guys. This is one of the shows that I actually watched when I started my YouTube channel. And this really, really helped me understand how to get views and keep a viewer engaged. And on YouTube or any social media platform, once you get them to click, keeping them engaged is what it's all about. So let's watch this very, very quickly. Then we're going to watch a couple of my more recent videos, and then I'm going to connect the dots for you guys. And I think this is really going to be a light bulb moment for you.
It's always a risk.
Now, did you see what we've already done here? Josh, I know you've noticed this, but we've already cut to 2 different scenes. We've already made 2 cuts, and we're in the first 3 seconds of this clip. And we started with a big animation of the TV show, I think it's called Flip or Flop, that pops up, goes away. We have a VO, a voiceover, and we have 2 cuts. This all happened within 3 seconds. 3 seconds. Let's keep going. And just for fun, guys, we'll probably go another 30 seconds or whatever, but just count how many cuts you actually see from one scene to the next scene to the next scene.
A house sight unseen. I checked out the comps and they're between the high 4s and the low 5s. Let's just hope that this house doesn't need any more than $50,000 in work so we can make some money. This is the moment of truth. What's up, Frank?
Hey guys.
It's day one and we're meeting our project manager, Frank, to finally get a look inside.
Okay, we're definitely taking all the trees down.
Let's go look at the house first.
Oh, it smells horrific. Someone actually just moved. Oh, come on. Come
Breathe.
on.
It smells nice. Come
There's
on.
no way.
Okay. So Josh, did you count?
Yeah, I mean, we're closer to a cut every 1.5 to 2 seconds, but
Yeah, I had about
there-
14 or 15
yeah,
cuts in there. So I am not saying that if you're doing a whiteboard video, as an example, or if you're doing an interview on your channel, you need to cut 15 times in the first 36 seconds. That is not what I'm saying. What I am saying is you need to understand why they're cutting. You need to understand the psychology behind this. So you can go online, you can watch tutorials on how to make YouTube videos or how to create content. You can listen to all the gurus, but I don't care what they say. The bottom line is you have to understand how to do this, and you have to understand why this works, and you have to understand the psychology behind what's happening. Now, I want to go back and just rewind here, and we're going to watch another. Let's just watch the first 20 seconds or so. Now, instead of paying attention to how many cuts they have and how many different shots, now I want you to pay attention to what's happening as far as the editing in addition to this. Here we go.
There's a risk buying a house sight unseen. I checked out the comps and they're between the high 4s and
There you go. See how the animation comes up? And it's not just a pop-up, it's an animation to where it moves. Also, notice how the shot, they don't have a static shot of this aerial view. The view is actually moving. Very, very important.
the low 5s. Let's just hope that this house doesn't need
Another shot that's moving.
any more than $50,000 in work so
Another animation.
we can make some money. This is the moment of truth. What's up, Frank?
Hey guys.
Another animation. Who is Frank? You got this animation that pops up that takes the eye right over to this. It's bright orange. And then there's movement with Frank. So this keeps the eye focused, basically, on what's happening. So if there's the baby's yelling, if something's happening over here, it kind of grabs your attention because everything that's going on. But it's not just random. You see, and this is what I always tell my editors. You can't just edit for the sake of editing. You have to edit with a purpose. The edit has to add value to the story you're trying to tell. That's where the magic happens.
Day one, and we're meeting our project manager, Frank, to finally
Another animation, day one, an edit that's following the storyline.
get a look inside.
Okay, we're definitely taking all the trees down.
Let's go look at the house first.
Oh, it smells horrific.
Can you pause for 1 second, George?
Someone actually just moved.
Okay, so now what they're doing is they're not just doing a shot of the house, but they're scrolling. So this does a few things. Number one, it keeps your attention based on what we were just saying. But number two, it's telling the story because it's making you feel like you are there. Because it's scrolling like this, just like you would with your head or your eyes. If you walked into a house, what would you do? You'd do this, right? You wouldn't just stare right at the wall right in front of you. Even if your head was still, you'd probably be looking around with your eyes. It's exactly what the camera is doing for you, again, to make you feel like you're there. Why? Because this keeps the viewer engaged.
And that was in addition to them encouraging tension. So they're saying that the house smells so bad and that it's so messed up. So then the editing is correlating to what the lady is saying, which builds extra tension because you can feel it and then you see it at the same time. And that's what keeps people engaged in watching. The biggest problem that most people do when they're starting on YouTube, it's not under editing. A lot of times it's over editing because they understand, oh, Mr. Beast cuts 2 times every single second. That means I should do the exact same thing. Well, that's not true if you are not editing for helping the viewer understand the video better and having them feel whatever emotion you're trying to portray.
What you're trying to, let me say it a different way, Josh. What you're doing if you're over editing is you're distracting them. And that's why I just said you have to edit with a purpose. Every edit has to be purposeful. What so many YouTubers get wrong, to Josh's point, is they see a Mr. Beast video and they say, oh, I need B-roll. And I see a lot of this with creators who are now using AI to help them edit. And they say, oh, this is great. All I have to do is take the raw footage and plug it into AI, and then the AI will edit for me. No, AI will get there, but it's not there yet. There's other ways that you should be leveraging AI right now. So what I'm trying to say there is the AI will edit, yes, but it doesn't edit with a purpose. It just throws in B-roll randomly every 10 seconds. And that's better than nothing, but it's not great. And to Josh's earlier point, if you do it too much, that can actually be distracting, and it would be better to actually have no edits whatsoever. So the key takeaway is what you don't have to watch hours of this stuff, but at least sit down for a half hour. I mean, when I first started my YouTube channel, I literally watched thousands of hours. If I had to, oh, maybe not thousands of hours. I watch hundreds of hours, definitely hundreds of hours of shows just like this, reverse engineering what they were doing, why, and why it worked. So now let's go over to a whiteboard video that I just did, because what you're going to see now that we've kind of opened up the kimono and help you guys now, unfortunately, what I've just done is I've probably just ruined reality TV show for any of you who enjoyed watching it, because now instead of enjoying the story and the show, you're going to be looking at all the edits. So sorry about that. But what I want to do is go over to the George Gammon channel, put up a whiteboard. We'll go through that, and then we're going to connect some dots for you guys. And I think this is really going to be just hugely, hugely beneficial to those of you who are just starting from scratch, or even those of you who maybe have 1,000, 5,000, maybe 10,000 followers on social media, and you're just looking to expand and do it in a way that's efficient, and use that same strategy that I used to go from, just a few views a day, maybe 10 or 20 views a day, to 70,000 within the span of just a few months. Okay, guys, so now we're going to go through maybe 30 seconds or so of my most recent whiteboard video, which has over 200,000 views in just a few days. Explain how they would do this and what I think the probabilities are of this actually happening, and 3 simple, fast steps. Step number 1, let's go over the mechanics here. It's actually pretty easy, believe it or not. We'll start in this section of the whiteboard, and we've got everybody's favorite, your drunk, insolvent Uncle Sam, the federal government right here. So he just is holding a sign that says, I will pay $20,000 for an ounce of gold. So if you are a gold holder and you wanted to sell your shiny yellow metal, what did Cain say? The barbarous relic? Okay. So that was a little longer than 30 seconds. But what did you guys notice? And we'll go over it here, and I'll point out the things that we did here. But hopefully what you started to notice is a lot of similarities with the psychological components with the show we just watched, the Flip or Flop show, the reality TV show. Now, am I cutting every 1.5 seconds? Did I have, 15 cuts in there? No, but effectively, I did something very, very similar, where you're going to see movements. So when we watch this again, now watch how many things pop up in the screen, and watch how many times we cut to a different shot here. We did that at the end a few times when we went to someone holding gold, when I actually was saying holding gold, or when I talk about the Keynes quote, what came up, that was the quote from Keynes, just to give people a reminder. So these are edits, but we're editing for a purpose. Like Josh said, we're not just throwing up edits for the sake of editing, which would actually be distracting, but we're using the same techniques, I think is the best way to say it, the exact same techniques that we just saw in that reality show, but we're just applying it in a little different way. how the United States may try to solve. Now, notice my hands. I'm doing that intentionally. Now, I've gotten to the point where I just kind of automatically do that all the time. But moving my hands like this, that's the same thing as that shot that we saw, that aerial shot. Instead of being static, actually moving slightly. There's movement, there's action, there's something going on. This subconsciously is going to keep the eye focused on what's happening right in front of you. And then when I talk about the debt, what happens? We have B-roll pop up of the debt in the United States. Now, what's going to be incredible about AI is right now, we don't have a lot of options with storytelling for the B-roll itself. This is kind of as good as it gets here when you just do a Google search. But with AI, we can create whatever type of B-roll we want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the intro and explain exactly what I'm talking about. I just don't want to get too sidetracked here. So Josh, remind me as soon as we get done here to go over the intro. And because I don't want to go way off on a tangent, but I do want to show people how exciting AI is for just creating better and better and better B-roll to tell that story better, and purposeful B-roll that will keep people engaged and get you more and more views, which will lead to more and more leads, which will lead to you making more and more money. Their debt crisis by revaluing gold to 20,000. Okay, so again, now what we're doing here is we don't just have the American flag with gold revaluing, but we've got the editor putting up something that flashes in front of the screen. Dollars an ounce, if not higher. And this is something they could be doing very, very soon. I'm going to explain how they would do this. Another thing popping up in front of the screen. And what I think the probabilities are of this actually happening. And 3 simple, fast steps. Step number 1. Another thing popping up on the screen that goes along with what I'm saying. Let's go over the mechanics here. It's actually now what's interesting here is you notice we go to a completely different shot. Completely different. So this could have just popped up in the screen, but what we chose to do is go to something completely different, which shakes it up. It shakes it up. So we can't cut every 2 seconds like they were, but we can do things like this to break up the shot in order to have the same effect. Now, for those of you who watch my whiteboard video, I'm sure you've noticed that usually step number 1, I start in front of the whiteboard. Step number 2, I go to my desk, something like this. Why do I do that? Exact same reason, just to mix up the shot. Easy, believe it or not. We'll start in this section. Notice what happened right there? That this is actually a very difficult edit to do, believe it or not, is that part of the whiteboard zoomed in and zoomed out. Whatever I'm touching, it's going to zoom in and zoom out. Exact same thing, or I'm doing this, the editors are doing this, for the exact same reason that the reality TV show people are doing what they were doing. Of the whiteboard. And we've got everybody's favorite. Notice how your drunk insolvent Uncle Sam pops up. Your drunk insolvent Uncle Sam. The federal government right here. So he just is holding a sign that says, sign pops up. I will pay $20,000 for an ounce of gold. So if you are a... What did I do right there? I point to the camera with the pen. That's intentional. I'm doing that on purpose. And this takes us back to right where we're here, or right where we ended before. So in summary, I would strongly suggest doing this even before you start a video, or even before you start making videos. Now, I wouldn't get the paralysis of analysis, but I would go over this so you really start to better understand the psychology of what goes into creating good content, and content that people are going to not just want to click on, but are going to want to watch from start to finish. Before we go on, I want to highlight the fact that if I edited the exact same way that they did on the TV show, no one would watch this whiteboard video because there would be too many edits and it would be distracting. But what I'm doing is I'm taking the concepts, because I understand them well from the TV show, and then I'm applying that in a way that is congruent and it tells the not tells the story, but I'm doing it in a way that is leveraging those concepts in the best way that I can for a whiteboard video. And then again, if we were talking about doing an interview, then we would use the exact same concepts, but the editing would be different there as well. So it all starts by understanding the psychology and the concepts behind the editing and therefore the engagement throughout the video. Josh, did I do well there? Or do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to feel super overwhelmed now, and they're going to say, holy smokes, there's way more that goes into this than I could have possibly ever imagined. And then that would even put you further in the analysis of paralysis. But let me tell you a study that actually just went down between two different groups of people. One was a group of people that had 4 weeks to make one video, and they were going to be posting it online to try and get the maximum amount of views. The other group was going to post a video every single day for a month. So for that same period of time, instead of posting one long video, they were just posting every day. And then they wanted to see what group would get better. So at the end of the study, the results were completely one-sided. The group that had the entire month to make one video completely flopped. Almost every single one of those got 0 views. Whereas the other group of people, where they all were just practicing making one video every single day for a month, they averaged more views per video than the group that waited the entire time. And the reason for that is volume negates luck in most standpoints. So the first group, if you've never made a video,
and you can only improve volume. You can only improve volume.
Exactly. So with volume, you are no longer allowing luck to come into play because you get real-time data as to what works and what doesn't, and you can start to innovate, and you're not stuck in that analysis of the paralysis of what should I do, what shouldn't I do. You're just taking action, and that is the real key. If you don't take action, you will never get better regardless of how many hours you study.
Yeah, great point. So I think if I had to kind of backstep a little bit, I would say watch a couple hours of this stuff, the reality TV, maybe watch one of my YouTube videos, understand the basics, and start to look at these things in a different way, but then only pick one thing that you can do. So let's say for your very first video, you're like, well, I can't do all this stuff because it's overwhelming. I'm drinking from the fire hose, but maybe I can just do one thing. I can just every 2 minutes, I can have something pop up on the screen that I'm talking about, and just do that in a 10-minute video. So it's not overwhelming. And then do that for maybe 2 or 3 videos. And then once you get comfortable with that, and then you watch it back and maybe you see some analytics and you get a couple comments, then you can say, okay, what can I do now to make it better? Now, I don't want to add everything, but just what's one thing that I can do to take a baby step forward and just make the next video just slightly better than the last video. What do you think about that approach, Josh?
Yeah. I would just also understand who you're making videos for, especially if you're a business owner that is looking to get leads. I mean, before you even start recording, I would think, what are your objectives? Is it just to get the maximum reach as possible? Is it to get the maximum customers or leads? Or what's your plan for your content strategy? And then I would just back into it that way. The same way you would make a paid ad is the same way that I would make a YouTube video for a business owner, but with the psychology of the TV show on the back end. And what I mean by that is you are making a video for a certain ICP, an ideal customer profile, and you are hitting their pain points and you're trying to solve a problem for them, which is a completely different objective if your goal is maximum engagement or entertaining like Mr. Beast. And I think that the studying and the concepts is super important, but you have to tailor it towards whatever your objectives for your channel are.
Right. But I would take the same approach with that. As an example, the first 3 or 4 videos that I did, I wouldn't even be cognizant of. I would try to think about that maybe for the topic of the video, but then I would just riff on it as someone who had some expertise. Let's say that you were like Gary Vee when he first started creating content and he knew a lot about wine. So his first exploration, let's say in content creation, was just talking about different types of wine. I think he was doing wine tasting or something like that. So that's probably the approach I would take. Kind of just slow but steady. Don't let this overwhelm you. Understand that you're not going to be good at the beginning, but your goal is to just understand these concepts better and better, and then just implement them slowly but surely. Continue to iterate, and then you're going to see results. I mean, that's the good news. This if you do that, it's not a matter of if, it's simply a matter of when you actually achieve your content creation goals, and therefore hopefully your goals around lead gen, top line, bottom line, and obviously making more money. You know, one thing I forgot to do, Josh, is go back and show the beginning of that video where we started to leverage AI, because I don't want to get too far off topic here, but I do want to give people an example of what we're starting to test right now that I'm really, really, really super excited about. And if you do what Josh is telling you, if you take this slowly, if you continue to improve, when you can start layering on the AI B-roll to tell that story better and engage with viewers and have a greater impact, your results are just going to go exponential. Okay, guys, here's the beginning of that exact same video. Hearing this.
Breaking news, this just in. In an effort to solve the U.S. debt crisis, the government has just revalued gold to $20,000 an ounce.
Now, that may have been artificial intelligence, but there's... See, so this video, the title is Alert, Their Secret Plan to Revalue Gold Was Just Leaked. So I'm talking about the Treasury having this setup with the Federal Reserve that the Fed can go ahead and basically monetize the gold the Treasury has on their balance sheet. But how well did that, or maybe a better way to say is how impactful was that? If you think about it, if you saw that thumbnail, if you clicked on this, and the very first, or one of the first things you saw was this gal, you know, talking that looks like she's in a newsroom, but then obviously you want to tell them that it's AI, but that's where you're grabbing someone's attention in a way that is definitely applicable, very applicable to the story you're trying to tell. It's not just random B-roll that's thrown in there that doesn't have a purpose. This is very, very purposeful. And my point is, what's happening in AI is just going to allow you to do this at a level that was completely unimaginable, even to me, like 6 months ago.
If someone's just starting out, can you explain to them the YouTube incentives system to where they know exactly what YouTube looks for it, make it crystal clear for what the YouTube creator needs to do to grow?
Yeah, so what we can do right there is we can look at some back-end analytics, because I'm already on the channel. So what Josh is talking about is the back-end analytics. We can go to, so this video got 134,000 views. It's kind of crazy is when you look at the watch time. 18,000 hours of watch time. It's still hard for me to really get my head around the fact that people are allocating that much time to watching my videos. But then you can see the amount of subscribers we gained from this video and the ad revenue from YouTube. But if you scroll down, you're going to get more of the analytics that Josh was referring to. Now, quite honestly, guys, the end of this retention graph here, not where I'd like it to be. I would like this to be closer to 40%, which I have done on some videos. But I think what happens is when you go out to a large audience, when you get a lot more views, the analytics get a little worse, but you can still get a good idea of how well you performed on this video. So this drop off in the amount or the percentage. So we start with 100% of the people that click on it. So what this is telling you is after 40 seconds, I only have 62% of them still watching. Now you may be saying to yourself, George, that's horrific. It's actually not, Bleat. It's actually not bad. Most YouTube videos, Josh, what would you say after 30 seconds have maybe like 75% of the people are gone?
Yeah, sometimes more than that. And so your hook needs to be super strong, but you should obviously be aiming to keep as many of those 100% as humanly possible.
Yeah. And then where we did really well here is you see this line is very straight, and it kind of, and the longer the video, the lower this is going to go. It's just natural. But this line is very straight. That's great. What you see sometimes in a retention graph is it just getting right here and then just plummeting. And that's when you did something really, really wrong. You just switched topics or something like that, or there was something really wrong with the edit. And again, what's great about the backend analytics is you can see where you're making mistakes and you can see where you're doing well. So let's look at something I did well here, and that you see that it didn't, this gray shaded area is what the videos typically do, like a normal video for the George Gammon channel, not necessarily YouTube. And then you see right here, they usually drop off. And that's because at the end, often I'll do an outro for more content that'll help you build wealth and thrive. You guys have heard it many times. So I've stopped doing that. And you see that we don't have that drop off right at the end, which doesn't seem like a lot, but that's actually very beneficial to the YouTube algorithm. And when you have an end screen that pops up, it's actually, you've got more people that are actually seeing it. So that's something we did well here. As far as the hook, not that great compared to my other videos, because you see this blue shaded area. That's what's really, really important, the first 30 seconds. And we had 71% of the viewers still watching at the 30-second mark, which relative to most YouTube videos is good, but I would like to see it a little bit better. And that would, if I could get that up to 80 as an example, that would make it much, much easier to have at least 40% of the people watching till the very end. And so why are we going over this? So if we look at our click-through rate here, 5.7% for a video with over 100,000 views, that's not bad. Not great. I'd like to see it maybe 6 or 7, but this is decent.
So that's actually the difference between this video getting 125,000 views and 300,000 views. If that click-through rate was 8% and we had 1.5 million impressions, that's not a few extra views. A few percent increase in click-through rate is actually a few 100,000 views in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. So what impacts this click-through rate the most? That would be the interplay between the title and the thumbnail. Now, what you don't have to use quote unquote clickbait, right? The way you really tell if a video is clickbaity is by the ratio of thumbs up to thumbs down.
And you could also see from your first 30 seconds. If you have a clickbait video, then you are going to have most people click off right after they clicked on it.
That's right. So what you're trying to do here is not necessarily, that's like a very lazy way to look at it. Oh, it's just clickbait. That's what you do. No, that's not what you do. What you do is you create curiosity. If you create curiosity and then the video delivers on what you were talking about. So again, we'll use this one as an example. So you see the thumbnail right here. Gold is now 20,000. So we've got this fake tweet from the Treasury Department. We got Scott Bessent, who everyone knows is in charge of the Treasury. And then we've got this alert. Their secret plan to revalue gold was just leaked. Now, if you watch the video, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly what I talk about. And I talk about their plan. Is it secret? I've never heard about it. It's definitely not out in the open, but it is online and you can research this stuff. I found out about it from my buddy, Luke Groman. But when you watch the video, this is exactly what I talk about. And then I talk about them revaluing gold to $20,000 an ounce. So if someone clicks on it to find out what this secret plan is, the government, and to potentially revalue gold, that's exactly what I'm going to get with this video. And that's why, let's go to the
can you go to the click-through rate on that video so we can show the difference between 100,000 views? I mean, imagine if your business got an extra 100,000 people that viewed it.
Well, we have less. The
But
click-through
that's
rate.
on 2.3 million impressions. So as YouTube works is it starts by sending it out to a core group of audience that YouTube thinks will watch the video. So if those people watch the video, then it sends it out to a broader group of people and a broader group of people. And if those people continue to click and continue to watch, that's important that they're actually watching the video and they don't click right off, then YouTube has the incentive to continuously push it out to more and more people until people stop clicking and watching. So as your video gets more views, less people are going to click it from a click-through standpoint, but it's the percentage that really matters.
Yeah, that's right. So I guess just to rephrase that here, with a video with this many views, because it's got like almost double the views of the other one, we maintained a similar click-through rate. So that's actually good because—
Can you actually click on click-through rate? Because you can see that over time.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to do that.
Look at the click-through rate originally was actually 6.5%, which is much better.
There you go. And again, this is how powerful, or this is one of the reasons you can see in real time here, why the backend analytics are just so powerful, and why being successful in content creation has very, very little to do with luck. Very little to do with luck. It's all about strategy. All about strategy. So now look at this, guys. So I did the same. I must have did the outro here, so that was kind of a fail. But if you look at the first 30 seconds, we're at 72%, so slightly better. And yes, that 1% actually does matter. But you look at after the first 30 seconds, we're definitely above the gray line. And that's really important because this video got a lot of views relative to other ones that would have made up this gray line.
And so that's why it's so important when George was going over this video's edit on how he's using AI to amplify a video's effect. Because the big difference in this video is he used AI to amplify the viewer experience by helping tell a better visual story as well as entertaining.
And that hook. So what we're talking about here, it's super important, guys, that you want to focus on if you're starting from scratch, or if you're just, at 1,000, maybe 5,000, 10,000 subscribers, is thumbnail title, the interplay there, creating, not using clickbait, curiosity driven, and then the first 15 seconds or 30 seconds of the video, that's paramount. So focus all of your attention on those things at the beginning, along with the understanding the psychology that we went over with the reality TV show and the whiteboard videos throughout the rest of the video. And if you can just use that as a starting template, you're going to do extremely well if you continue to look at the analytics and continue to iterate, practice, and just get better and better and better with hopefully every video you can do. Now, another thing I wanted to go over, Josh, is this. Okay, so here we can compare this to other videos. Now, this is actually compared to other videos on YouTube
that are of a similar topic, similar length. So this is where if you're doing better than your competition.
So look at where we are here, guys. After a minute, I am way above average, way above average. So this is one of the main reasons this video got a ton of views. It's right here. You're looking at it. And what's one of the reasons, or one of the main reasons we got to this level that's so far above average, is most likely because we had a great hook. We had a great hook. Everything was congruent. And we've got to give a big hat tip there to AI, artificial intelligence. If we would not have had that AI hook at the beginning, this video still would have got quite a few views, but it maybe would have gotten, let's say, 150,000 views as opposed to whatever it has now, 221,000. Don't you think that's pretty accurate, Josh? We got an extra maybe 70,000 views because of the hook.
I would say a lot of it is the idea and the title and thumbnail. So to have a great title and thumbnail, you need to have a great idea for a video that sparks your audience's curiosity and their interest. And George's interest a lot of them are going to be in the gold space, and especially something that is as outlandish of an idea that sparks curiosity in and of itself. Gold basically 10xing. And so I think that has a lot to play with it. And then you kept them, which is your job as the creator.
Yeah, but I think if we're just isolating the intro, the hook with that AI component, If I would have done a normal type of hook, that was the difference of about 70,000 views. If I had to just guess, I think if we would have had a normal hook on that without the help of AI, that AI B-roll, we would have had maybe 150,000 views on this, because everything else that you said, or what you were just talking about with this video, was pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so main takeaway here, and I realize that this is probably like fire hose here, but really don't worry about it. I think if we had to simplify this down to one thing, is just watch some reality TV shows, try to reverse engineer it, understand what they're doing, the psychological components, the concepts, and then watch maybe a couple of my whiteboard videos and see the consistencies, and then try to just implement maybe one or two of those techniques within your first couple videos. But the overriding factor, the most important thing that you can do, is start. You have to start. Don't overthink this. I don't care if you don't have a mic, if all you have is a computer, start. Just go to YouTube. It's super easy to set up a YouTube channel. Just start uploading videos. And by the way, the only thing you have to do.
What's funny enough, George, is when I first started working for Ken McElroy, he's one of the guys that I work with, I recorded every video on my phone. There was actually, he didn't even have connection to an audio, because that's not what's important. It's the value of the information. It's sparking curiosity, and it's the concepts that George and I were just talking about. I mean, right now I have no mic. All we're doing is blocking the audio with this pillow fortress.
Yeah. And this is a great point. And what am I doing? So I've got this fancy looking background behind me, right? But if we just go over here, that's a bed mattress. And I really, I don't necessarily have to have that there because I've got a directional mic, but it just goes to show you, like, I don't have any fancy, sound absorbing or anything like this. And by the way, this room is concrete because I'm in Colombia and it's all concrete construction. So these walls that we're looking at maybe right there, that's a concrete wall. That's terrible for audio. Terrible, terrible, terrible. But I still just make it work with just going to like their version of Home Depot, and I just put some carpet, and that's not even like carpet that's connected to the ground. That's just like a roll of carpet that you buy for like $20 or something. And I just put it down, and then you put a couple bed mattresses down. You're ready to go. You wouldn't even have to really have this directional mic. And Josh is living proof there in what he's doing with his little Airbnb. And now let's get, while we're on that topic, Josh, let's get over into the lighting, because the lighting is important to a certain degree, but it's way more important just to start and practice. But once you get to that point where you're ready to add some lighting, we're talking about $20 lights from China. I mean, that's literally, if we go around here, can you see I've got 3 of those lights right there, and those are at most $50 at the most. And so that's really all it takes, guys, is understanding the concepts and the psychology behind good editing, understanding that you're going to suck right at the beginning, not caring that you're going to suck, and going out there and just producing as much content as you can, even if it's just like once a week. Just getting out there, getting in front of a mic or in front of a camera, in front of the computer, just doing videos, and then just try to make each video just slightly better than the last one using the techniques that we discussed in this channel. And then, once you do maybe 20 videos or so, then maybe go out and get a couple lights, play around with it. Don't spend a lot of money, just a couple bucks. And if you want to work on, get the audio a little bit better, go buy some carpet, put it down, a nice like shag rug. And then maybe after you do 20 or 30 videos, maybe look into a mic. These Shure directional mics, I think, are the best. You can just get those on Amazon, and you got to get a little mixer that's really easy to use. And that's how you start. That's how I did it. And just using the exact same I guess, strategies that we've talked about in this video is how I grew the George Gammon channel within just 3 or 4 months from not ever uploading a video. And then once I uploaded in the first 2 or 3 months, getting literally not 20 views a video, but 20 views a day on the channel, 20 views a day on the channel, to then within 3 or 4 months getting 70,000 views a day. I'm not making this up. You can see the views for the channel, and you can see those big spikes. And if I can do it, you can do it, because it's not luck. It's all strategy. And if you subscribe to this channel, if you continue to watch these videos, I can assure you, you are going to be able to do the exact same things with your content creation strategy, and you're going to be able to grow your personal brand, and you're going to be able to grow your business. Josh, anything to add?
Yeah, I would say just to prove that you can start now. In our last video, we talked about how Robert Kiyosaki started a channel, and within 45 days, he's now getting 500,000 views per month without ever promoting it anywhere else. And just to prove that is the best time to start now. So I'd just recommend watching that video next.
Okay. Guys, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. As always, make sure you're standing up for freedom, liberty, for market capitalism, and we'll see you in the next video.